Hey guys, welcome to the Rachel Cruze Show. All right, we're going to talk about budgeting and specifically how to simplify your budget. If you could imagine your budget only taking like 15 to 20 minutes a week to be looking at and interacting with, it's a game changer. So we're going to talk through some of my favorite tips to simplify that. But in order to do your budget, a couple things to remember. Have a dedicated time at the beginning of the month or the end of the month prior to sit down and do your budget, because you want to do a budget before the month begins. So you can do it like on the 1st of the month or the 30th, 31st of the other month, but you want to do it before the month begins. And if you're married, you want to do it with your spouse. Get on the same page with your spouse. And then I would look at your calendar and say, okay, what special occasions are coming up? Are there extra expenses that we have this coming month versus last month? And you can plan so much easier when you look at your calendar. So once you've looked at your calendar, you've sat down with your spouse and you've actually said, okay, we're ready to do the budgets. Here are some ways to help you do it faster. Number 1, use technology. The old pen and paper, it works. You can do it. But let's be honest, you're going to be doing a calculator and doing math and figuring out stuff. When you use an app like EveryDollar, it does it for you. It shows you exactly how much you have left to budget. If you've over budgeted, you're able to change stuff on the go. It makes life so much easier. So if you don't have EveryDollar, I really would recommend doing that. I actually had a friend text me last week and she was like, hey, if I were to use one app for budgeting, what would it be? I was like, I might be a little biased, but EveryDollar. So again, download it. You can go to ramseysolutions.com/EveryDollar and check it out because it will help you save so much time. Number 2, you want to budget based off of last month's income and expenses. Okay, so especially if you've done EveryDollar, it duplicates for next month. And this makes it so easy so you're not doing a new budget every single month. That's going to take forever. Take last month's budget and say, okay, what is different on here? What do we need to change? But you use it as a baseline versus starting from scratch. I promise that will save you so much time and effort. And then number 3, put specific categories that are only like to the month at the bottom of the budget. Because here's the deal, when you're duplicating and replicating last month's budget, all your consistent bills like cable and usually electricity and water for the most part, rent or your mortgage, like these bills that are going to be very, very consistent, the expenses, even food, you pretty much are going to figure out within 30 days, 90 days, how much you spend on food. So the things that are month to month, you're going to have. And then the month specific ones are down below. So this would be like in December, it might be Christmas, right? Or last December I deleted like 5 categories because we had plane tickets we bought for a trip coming up next year. We had Christmas, we had our anniversary in December. Like we had a couple of things that we're not going to move over to January. So in January, I was able to delete those. But instead of them being all mixed in and having to go through every single thing, it just makes it easy just to get rid of. And it kind of satisfying to be like, we don't have any of those. Now, when you're looking at your calendar, you're probably going to add some month-specific categories back in the budget, but that's what it's there for, which is great. All right, next, pay your bills online. This is a huge time saver and helps you stay on track because you can do auto drafts from your checking account for most places. But if they don't accept that, even your bank will send a check for you. There might be a fee, but anything that you can do to get off your plate that you have to do manually and it can be automatic, that you know it's coming out. Again, it's a lifesaver because you don't forget, it's automatically paid, no late fees or any of that. Next, use cash when possible. So this is always a great just money-saving tip in general. And I know a lot of places now may not even accept cash or you're doing online shopping, but the places that you tend to overspend in your budget, cash those out. And you can know, okay, I'm cashing this much out. So you have it in your budget. So you already know this is the amount of money we're spending. So when you have it in cash, you're like, okay, this is all we have for this category, and it makes you stay on track. And the Rachel Cruze wallet, yes, there's so many envelopes built into the wallet, so you can have for different categories. There's 10 slots for your debit cards and your gift cards. We partnered with Join, which is an incredible organization out of India. So it's genuine leather. It's beautiful. So you can check that out at ramseysolutions.com/wallet for that. Next, again, to simplify the time you spend on your budget is have fewer accounts. So if you're married, have one checking account that you're working out of. Really, you just need one savings account for your emergency fund. And then maybe you can have another savings account if you have different sinking funds and that kind of thing. But the less accounts you have, the more simple it is to budget. And last but not least, spend 15 to 20 minutes a week on your transactions. Now, if you have EveryDollar, like we talked about, it will connect to your bank account, EveryDollar Plus, and so you're able to drag and drop them in each category. But tracking your transactions is going to help you stay on budget. It does not take long at all, and it really helps you keep track of your spending. And that's one big part of budgeting that helps you actually win, is you know how much is left in the category throughout the month, because then you're able to say no to that category altogether, or maybe you move some money from a different category, but it helps you stay on track. This is your friend, I'm telling you. So that's it, you guys. I mean, budgeting, it can be stressful a little bit, because especially if you've never done it before, it's like, okay, you have to pull in all these numbers, figure it out. But I'm telling you, after your second or third budget or your second or third month of doing this, it gets easier. It really does. And your time doing it will reduce because you're used to it. And it is the thing that is going to help you stay on track when it comes to your money. It still just boggles my mind sometimes. I've heard people say, well, I work too hard to kind of budget every single dollar, and just like, and I just think the opposite. I'm like, I feel like I work too hard just to not do it. Like, there's something about it that's so satisfying that I'm like, I know what I'm working towards. Winston and I have a few money goals for this year, and we're like, hey, we want to hit them, so I want to make sure we're putting this amount away. Like, it's your game plan. It helps you do everything, and it's amazing. So make sure you are budgeting this year, you guys. It can change the game. And remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.